We're going to get started with our Nearpod training today. This first video is designed to show you what happens when you first log in and then to also demonstrate some of the features. There are more videos to follow after this one. Once you log in to Nearpod, this is the screen that you get with 5 different choices. The first choice is My Library, where any lesson that you've created is stored. For Explore, this is the Nearpod store, and it already has over 2,000 lessons available to you. Join is what you would use if you had a five-letter PIN in order to join an existing Nearpod lesson. Create is where you would make your own lesson from scratch. And Reports is where the data from the lessons, where you insert questions and do quizzes, that's where the data is stored for students. If you ever get lost in what those 5 mean, there's the Help Me Decide down here at the bottom of the screen, and it'll give you an explanation of what each one of these tabs are for. Let's take a look at that Explore tab. In the Explore store, where there's over 2,000 different videos or lessons that have already been made, you can limit your search by hitting the search button right there and typing in information such as grade, subject, or price. You will always be allowed to preview lessons before you download them. You can add to your cart if they have to be purchased, or you can download for free from this page. When you've downloaded a lesson, it'll be located in My Library. And when you click on Live Session, that'll send it out to students to use by pulling up a PIN that they have to enter. Keep in mind that your screen is going to look slightly different from student screens. One of the things that you'll have that students won't have is this teacher toolbar located in the top left-hand corner on your screen. The PIN will be there again if you should ever need to send that PIN out for someone who dropped in late or their internet connection dropped them. Just click on it and it'll pop up in a big box on your screen. It also tells you the number of students that you have in, so it's a quick check of how many have gotten logged into the site and entered the PIN. And you've got a feature over here, a little shadowy person, that shows you student names or hide student names, depending on if you're going to show some student work and you want people to remain anonymous. The arrows on the screen will take you back and forth from one slide to the next. One thing that you need to remember is that you should not share the lesson with students until you reach 100% student participation. So if you're missing a few and they're not all green, I would wait before I share it, because otherwise those students will not be able to answer the questions and you won't have data for those. Homework option, we'll look at this in another screen, but it is student-led. When you download a lesson, you can edit it. And this is what we strongly encourage you to do. No reason for you to reinvent the wheel. So once you get a lesson, you can keep some of the slides that you like and delete those that you don't. You can also make it more of your own by adding interactive features to slides. Some of the interactive features that you can add would be adding different kinds of content, whether that be a slideshow that's made by Google, a video, some audio, a picture, or the 360-degree field trips that they have inside of Nearpod. Now, by 360 video degree field trips, I mean sort of like a virtual viewer, like when you look at real estate, you can turn around and look at wherever the location is, whether it be a museum. It's as if you're standing there and turning around in a circle. There's also a way to add web content so that students have access to a website that you want them to look at, and they can kind of peruse that site on their own time. You can also add activities such as open-ended questions, do a poll, give the class a quiz. There's a very neat Draw It feature that we'll talk about in another video, or fill in the blank at a memory test. Another interactive feature is a slideshow. If you have an existing slideshow that you want to share with students, like this one in the picture to the right of the screen, it has 6 different slides. In Nearpod, you can send all 6 to the students at one time, and they can go through the 6 and go back and forth as they want to, instead of going one by one like you would when you're leading the session. So it gives students to work at their own pace. They can also add notes on the slides as they are working within the slideshow feature. That's the basics. If you have an interest in more of the advanced features, then you'll want to watch the next video in this session. If you do have questions, don't forget to see the Nearpod forum at Blackboard so that you can post a question and get an answer.